it. All right, Wardell, I need to be able to see you. I can see you.
All right, you're listening to the new WCEG Network on WCEG Talk Radio.com. Watch us live on your smart TV on YouTube at WCEG Network. I'm Wardell Richardson, your host right here on WCEG Wood, the Hollywood of the South, for the next hour. We're the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and on Instagram at WCEG_talk_radio. That's WCEG_talk_radio. And at WCEG Network. That's WCEG Network. Last but not least, the topics and opinions are those of the show host and guests and not those of WCEG Network. Hello, everyone. I am Wardell Richardson here once again for last show before our summer break. And, you know, I had to go out with a bang before I hit the break. But before I do, I just want to give a little bit of a few updates before I bring my lovely guest on. First off, if you have not, over the summer, take some time, go on Amazon Prime, Tubi TV, check out some of the projects that I've been in. Addiction by Subtraction, Greed, Flesh. All of those are on Amazon Prime, The 30-Day Rule. And A Killing Secret. I directed that movie. I'm not in it, but I directed it and it's doing well over in Cali, actually. It's getting awards and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just enjoying that. Not only that, there's a movie by the name of Rabbitous that I did that is airing on Tubi TV. I did that years ago and it finally came out. So I'm like, wow, like I just didn't think it was coming, but it came. So go and check it out. You would not believe my character in this film. It was very intense. So you got to check it out. Secondly, we are in production with Michael Angelo and the Mangelo Productions with the hit TV series Dream On Dreamer, where I am one of the leads of this film, along with, you know, my partner in crime, Penny, who had a spot in it. So when y'all see Penny, shout out to her, say, hey, I hear you're an actress now, because she is one. She don't know it, but she is an actress now, Penny. And we had a blast. We shot last weekend. It was our first day shooting. We'll be shooting again all this weekend as well. I'm excited. I love doing that. That is my passion. That is everything to me. Is Penny said, yay. But I really, really enjoy acting. I enjoy becoming different people, you know, portraying different personalities and attitudes. That's the only place you can do it and get away with it for free. So without going to jail, you know, if you play a bad guy, you know what I mean? So I love acting. I love everything about it. Make sure you check us out. We're going to have the premiere for the first season, I think, in July. It's going to be fire because this film is, if you like Insecure, you're going to like this project. It is on that level. So make sure you check me out. Follow me, Wardell Richardson. Follow Mangelo Productions. Make sure you go and follow WCEG as well. We are doing some amazing things over here. You just won't believe what we've been into, but we are doing some ecstatic things. With that being said, early voting ends tomorrow. So make sure you get out there and vote, y'all. It's a lot going on. They're doing a lot of distractions right now on television. You know, they have all these killings and stuff going on, mass shootings. Make sure you get out there and vote. It's about to end here real soon, and you don't want to miss out on the opportunity to make a change. Primary elections will be Tuesday, May the 24th. So make sure you go and check it out. Go and vote. You please go and vote. I don't think people understand the importance of voting. You know, a lot of times we focus on just the president, but there are a lot of other voting that happens for your state. And you need to make sure you have people in line that's going to fight for you, that's going to, you know, defend your honor, defend their community, the people in the community. You have to go and vote. We had Valencia Stovall on here not too long ago. I'm sorry, who is running for office. So make sure you go to her website, Valencia Stovall. Make sure you Google her, go to her site. It'll explain everything going on with the voting and how to vote, who to vote for, who is all involved in voting, so that you'll know that you're voting for the right person. Do your research, people. In other words, go do your research, understand what's going on in the government. She is running for the congressional seat in the 5th district. So go and vote for Valencia, because I had her on here last weekend. She is phenomenal. Go out and vote. I can't stress that enough. Don't just wait till there's a presidential election. Go and vote for the people that are running for seats in your state. Make sure you go and vote for people that are running in your state. Understand what's going on. There has been so much going on the news. Our deepest condolences go out to those families who lost people in these recent horrible deaths that's been going on. It has just been insane. In 24 hours, and I posted this on my Instagram page, in 24 hours, there have been 4 mass shootings all over the country. I don't know. It seems like times are getting worse to me. And to raise children at this time is just hard, because you have to try to prepare them for things that they don't understand yet. So as a parent, and that's just where my mind goes. I'm always thinking about my kids. I want them to be safe. I want them to grow up in a safe neighborhood, in a safe community, in a safe state and country, as a whole. If they want to move and go somewhere else, they can go somewhere else and feel safe. But where are you safe at now? People are mass shooting in elementary schools and stuff. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So please, people, be aware of what's going on in the country. Be aware of what's going on in your state. Go out and vote. Make sure that you do your research, and please ignore all the distractions that are on TV and pay attention to what's going on around you. I can't say that enough. Without further ado, I want to bring on a woman who I admire very much. She is absolutely amazing. If you go on her page on Instagram, which she'll give you here shortly, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you see her at, she is posting the most positive messages, the most fulfilling messages, things for women, things for men. You just have to go and check out her page and follow her. I done had an armload of people hit me up. They went to her page, but they would hit me up saying how beautiful she is. So without further ado, I want to bring on my good friend, Keyonna A Monroe. Hello.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, I hear you. You
I don't know if it's hear me.
I hear you going in and out just a little. That's crazy. You were good here for a minute. Hello? Well, she's getting herself together. Keyonna is a specialist, her frame pro, so she'll be on here in just a second. There she goes. There you go.
See me?
I hear you, but you're going in and out real bad for some reason.
I'm going out. Let's see.
Yeah, you good now.
Let's see. Hold on. Let's see what's going on. Because, technology always sometimes has a mind of its own.
It does. You're good right at this moment. Okay, so thank you for coming in. I know you...
fingers crossed here.
I know you're pretty busy, so I want to thank you for coming on. Out there, she's in California, you guys. So she's 3 hours behind out there.
Yeah.
So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming on. I love talking to you, and like I was saying to everyone, your messages, you're just so inspirational. And on top of that, you have some other stuff you got that's coming out as well. So we're gonna get into all that. But first, give a little history about you, because you've been through some things in your past, and you've talked about that and shared that on your social media platform and different scenarios. So can you give a little bit about who you are?
Well, for me, I raised in South Central LA. Born to an amazing Cuban mother, and at a very young age, like I shared before, my parents had me really young. So I was 13. Well, my mother was 13 when she had me. My father was 17. And I experienced a whole lot of everything. I am a child trafficking survivor. I was in a gang growing up, though right? And academically, I was intelligent and I was everybody said, I was a beautiful girl and I was so pretty, but I wasn't for self-esteem. I out my self-worth and what I
You're
growing
going
up. So I
out.
had to fight.
You're going in and out real bad.
Is it?
You were on good for a while, but you just going in and out for some reason.
On good for a while. Let me see.
Your Wi-Fi is very spotty.
It gets a little bit better.
Maybe it's the spot that you're in. But
Yeah.
you're a survivor of human trafficking. That's something you talked about. You went into details about that on live before.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
and
but I survived.
Yeah.
I conquered. It was very hard on my self-esteem. I had to fight really hard and relearn into healthy love, relearn healthy relationships, relearn what it was like to. Is it frozen still? Is it still frozen?
It's still freezing on and off.
Let's see. How about now? I know. Oh my gosh, why? Is it okay? How's it going? Is it doing okay?
It's doing good right now.
Okay. I had to learn how to love myself. I had to relearn self-worth. I had to relearn what a healthy relationship was. I had to relearn my value, and I had to unlearn a lot of conditioned programming of unworthiness. I had to unlearn a lot of behavioral habits and patterns that were toxic and unhealthy. I had to figure out what it was like to use my voice, right? To set boundaries. And that means setting boundaries even with my family, right? And detach myself without shame, without guilt from a family that is unhealed, so that I can go out, do my version of healing, and then come back if necessary to help along the way. And I really believe that sometimes the family that you are born into doesn't mean that it's always the family that you are bonded to or blood binded, and people say blood is thicker than water, but you in order to become the healthiest version of you, sometimes you have to trim the fat, and that be family. And
what was the most challenging part of that for you, like in healing from that? What was the most challenging part of that you had to go through?
When it came to healing from my family, it was really hard, and I cried a lot because I fought really hard to mend the bonds and the relationships that I have with my parents and my grandparents and other family members, right? But it is not my responsibility to heal my parents. It is not my responsibility to teach them things, right? It is my responsibility to heal myself. And with the understanding that my family did the very best that they could with the knowledge that they had, that was handed down to them from generations and generations to come, right? And my life is my own. My feelings and my healings, that is my responsibility. And the more I try to attach myself to them and heal them, and every time I felt like I learned something new, let me go share it with them. People will not learn until they are ready to learn. People change because they want to change, not because they're forced to change, right?
Absolutely.
And so it was, I recognized that by holding on, even though the rose is beautiful, right? Holding on to it, right? I was being cut from the thorns of a flower that I was born into, of the bouquet in a garden that I was born into. And for me, the best thing to do was to let go and believe that when it's time for them to heal, they will heal. And sometimes, even with family, you have to be able to love them from a healthy distance. And that's what I did. It was not easy, never easy. But God being God sent family along the way. He sent mother figures. I have godparents. He sent family to fill in the voids of, the blood family that I was born into, that I cut myself off from. I was never denied love. I have sisterly love. I went to Spelman University. I have sisterly love. I have motherly love. I have grandmother love. I have love. And I believe that the more I pour into the love I have for myself, right, the more beneficial I am for other people around me. And that took a lot of work and a lot of awareness.
Was that hard for you to accept love from other people? Because earlier you were saying how you had to learn how to love again or to receive love. Was it hard for you, even with, the sisterly love that you had? Was it hard for you to obtain the love from them as well?
Yeah, because I realized that I had a lot of experiences that were negative and impacted me psychologically in a way where I carried a lot of fears and I carried a lot of emotional filters. And all of my relationships, I would bring some of my previous baggage into every relationship that I had. And I had to stop for a minute and say, the experience that you have with this person, they are allowed to have a clean slate until proven that they are not trustworthy. And I need to learn how to trust myself and understand myself. I had to know what's acceptable. What do I tolerate? Why do I tolerate things? Am I clear about the type of friendships that I want, type of relationships that I want? Am I going to speak up for myself, even though, these aren't blood-related families? I came from a history of not using my voice or having my voice shut down. So moving forward, when I'm interacting with people and I'm dealing with people, that's the one thing I don't allow. I say what I need to say, and I set boundaries, and I'm clear about those things because I love me. And I'm no good as a friend to you if I don't love me. I'm no good as a spouse to you if I don't love me. If I let you walk all over me, right, and I lose my worth and I lose my value, then you don't get a whole version of me. You have a bag full of broken pieces that you want to keep to yourself. But that's what good does that do?
Right.
Yeah.
I get you. And so, and one of the things you said also was that you had to learn yourself or love yourself again. And I'm sure that was a challenge because of all the negativity that comes behind it. How long was it before you was able to learn who you are and to love yourself for who you were?
So I started going to therapy at 29 years old because I felt like I was living a life that was not purposeful to me in my 20s. Even though I was a mother, I was a great mother and I love my son. I had gotten my degree already. I was going into getting my double master's degree, right? But those are all things. Those are all accomplishments. Those are all achievements. And I am a human being, not, a human doing. And I was doing all of these things and not necessarily for the right reason. And I kept getting the same result. And I said, I have to do something different. I have to make some type of change that's different. And it's not going to be in the arms of a relationship. It's not going to be, under the wings of my parents. It's not going to be, looking for validation through my friendships, through my accomplishments, no, I have to figure out who Keyonna is, what she wants, what is valuable to her, what my self-concept is, what kind of life do I want to live, and what do I want that experience to be like, and what I want that to feel like. So going into therapy, my therapist encouraged me to start saying no. That was the first thing. And I learned that I was a big people pleaser, right? Because I just wanted ease. I lived so much life of hardship that I wanted ease by any means necessary. And so I learned to start saying no to myself. And I spent a full year of fasting, right? And when I say a full year of fasting, it was no TV, no social media. I was going to work. If I got on the internet, it was just to do some homework or some work. And if I did watch TV, it was cartoons with my kid. But I was spending quality time with myself. I didn't go to the building. I didn't go to church that way. I wanted to experience God in a way that was new and that was different, and in a way that I can relate away from the rest of the world, right? And I built an intimate bond with the Lord, and I learned how much grace I require, and how much forgiveness I deserve, and how much God loves me. And I took the time to really search, God, what does your heart look like? What does it feel like? What is that? Because I'm missing unconditional love. I feel like I am walking around entertaining people in hopes to be loved, but I'm being loved with conditions. And I want to experience the kind of love from you that makes me full, so that I don't go looking in any relationship, not work, not my kid. My kid doesn't validate me, my parents, my degrees, none of that stuff. I want to be a whole person, right? With purpose, not a broken person looking for people to fill in the voids and the cracks, right? I want water to be poured into me without seeping out. I want I want to be able to have things poured into me, and the love that God pours into me overflows. And it took a full year for me to be intimate with myself, understanding closeness, forgiveness, the way I think about myself, what I believe I'm worth, how I speak, and where did it come from? Why do I feel that way? What was this issue? What areas of my life needs healing? Where am I carrying shame? Where am I carrying blame? Understanding that in my humanness, I'm allowed to make mistakes. And because I extended so much forgiveness and kindness and grace for myself, it allowed me to forgive my parents and forgive my family, because we're all God's children at the end of the day.
We are.
And if I need that much grace and compassion and love, and if it took me time to build my relationship with God, who am I to rush somebody else's experience? And who am I to not allow forgiveness and kindness and compassion to, another child of God? Though that person is my parent, they're still human. And it's not my responsibility to control their outcome. I am my responsibility. And once I recognized that, and I was able to really forgive and love them, and look at them in a way of innocence, and say, I believe with all my heart that if they knew better, they would do better. And it's not my fault that they didn't learn how. I have to appreciate the good parts that they did give, and release the rest. It is not my responsibility. That is now in the hands of them and God. And that's a relationship that they have a right to build in that time. I'm focused on mine and everybody that will benefit from my healing and my relationship with God, and the love that I give and that I have for myself. And I'm telling you, it is not easy. It is so much work when you realize how cruel you can be to yourself.
Right.
It's no joke. And then what you tolerate.
I think a lot of people need to understand that, because a lot of people are cruel to themselves and don't even realize that they're being cruel to themselves.
Yeah.
And then you want to know why people react to you a certain kind of way or talk to you a certain kind of way when you haven't really paid attention to what you put out. And I'm a true believer in whatever you put out, you receive.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like so many people internalize other people's projections instead of saying, you know what, I understand that you're feeling how you feel and they may be valid to you, but they're not my responsibility. And I will not absorb your negativity. I will not absorb your pain. I will not absorb your struggle. I will not absorb your hurt and your pain. You have to heal that over there.
Right.
I can love you, right? But I can also love you and love myself more and love me enough to not allow certain behavior that does not support a healthy environment for my life. In my space, you have to really limit who gets access to you. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree with you on that. Very important. Now, at some point, going through that and learning who you are as a person, you decided that you wanted to show other people or give other people a chance to embrace what you learned about yourself, to understand, so that they can understand themselves. What was it, and when did you decide to become a self-worth coach, to be able to speak to these people and, you know, people who've been through trauma, experiences that, you know, who knows people would have been through, and be able to escape that and love themselves the way that you have learned to love yourself again?
So focusing on just that area of self-love, I recognize that as I continue to heal, I'm engaging with people and I'm noticing areas of brokenness. I'm noticing areas like their mindset, how they process information, how they make choices and decisions, how they're tolerating and staying in relationships that don't serve them. And then also looking at kids that my son is around and seeing that they need a me. If I would have had a me in my life growing up, how different my life would have been. If I would have had a me as a friend when I was younger, how different my life would have been. And so I was just like, you know what? I truly believe that because God's love healed me, the intimacy of God's love healed me. If people could go deeper than the book, if people can go deeper and further than the church building, and if they can find their way into the crevices of God's heart, right? It can heal areas of brokenness in the quiet places where you are all by yourself and it is just you. It is just you. And that helped with how I managed my money, how I accepted my body image, my mindset, how I thought about myself, how I spoke about myself, so on and so forth. So I wanted to know, I already had an idea of love, and I do a lot of studying, a lot of research on primary love, on intimacy, understanding the mindset. So understanding emotional intelligence, right? You have to understand your feelings and be aware of what you feel, so that you can heal certain things about your life. But also neurolinguistic programming, right? Being certified in the psychology of the mind and thought process, right? That's really important. And I felt like if I could help people understand their feelings and understand their mindset, right, and understand their cognitive behavioral habits and conditioned programming of unworthiness and where that started, so that we can pluck it from the root right? And start planting new seeds to grow for new learned behavioral patterns and habits, right? That support the love that you want to have and the love that you want to experience. I felt like in my 30s, that's the path that I wanted to be on, and that's my purpose in life. And the reason why I know it's my purpose in life is because I believe that hurt people.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we live in a world
for sure
full of
hurt
pain
people. Yeah.
caused by hurt people.
Yeah.
And there's an aftershock and aftermath of that consistently affects other people. The greed, the selfishness, the jealousy, right? Greed, the bitterness, the hate, the racism. You know, there's something about people that feel like I'm not good enough in my skin, or there's not enough to share, there's not enough for me, or I have to one up somebody else for my worth, or I have to prove something to someone else for me to feel validated, or for me to feel worthy. I have to overspend, I have to be this size, I have to be this shade, I have to wear these outfits, I have to live in this neighborhood, I have to show everybody I can travel, I have to do all of those things, right? Has nothing to do with the intimate center of your heart and the relationship that you have with God and your purpose. Even if it looks like other people's, it's your own. And I felt like I lived the life that I've lived, and I've experienced some of the worst of the worst. You know, trafficking for 4 years as a child, the aftermath of that, you know, and then being pregnant with a son who my son's father passed away. And so I became a single mother. That was not the plan. So constantly having things, you know, stripped from me or taken from me, and then having to cut my family off so that I can do some healing, and then horrible relationship. Like there was a wave of things that I've endured and happened. You know, me being in a gang growing up when I was in middle school, there's so many choices and decisions that had, you know, a negative aftermath. That I had to start making new choices to kind of change the ripples in the water.
What was it that made you change? Like, what was it going, you know, being in a gang, after you've been trafficking, you was in the gang, what happened that made you say, I got to change my life? I've got to do things differently.
I think it was after graduating, not, you know, trying to come back to LA, get a job, trying to surround myself with, you know, all the wrong friends, trying to be accepted, trying to be, you know, approved of, and people pleasing, and all the negative decisions that I was making, they were negatively impacting me. And that means that they were, to me, negatively impacting my son. Right. And I trusted someone that, had I been wiser and more aware and more honest with myself, I would have known these are not good friends. These are not good friends. These are not good people. I'm not paying attention. I didn't set up boundaries. I'm putting myself in a position to be used and manipulated. And I ended up being homeless. And I was in my car for 6 months with my kid. And I said, okay, enough is enough. God, you have to show me another way. Like, this cannot be my life. Like, I cannot keep making bad choices and decisions. I know I'm worthy of good things. I know, like, everyone in the world can't be bad. And how can I attract and attract better people and good people in my life? You know, my son didn't ask to be here. And I have to give him a better life than the one I was given. And I'm too smart and I work too hard. And my choices and decisions are due to lack of self-love and self-esteem and self-worth. And I need to think better of myself so that I can do better for me. So I can have a better effect and impact on my kid. And that was it. It was just like, maybe I should go to therapy and start healing these areas.
Right. And now, you have music that you've been working on. You let me hear some samples, and your music is insane. It's beautiful music, and it touches on everything that you was just talking about, healing and love. Is that what pushes you to do the type of music that you do? Everything that you've been through and talked to and people you've connected with?
Yeah. So I figure, I teach love for a living. I talk about emotional intelligence and feelings, right? Making healthy choices, having healthy relationships with a significant other or with family or with friends, and believing in yourself, honoring yourself, knowing your worth, knowing your value. Why not put it in music? Music is so impactful. It can make you angry, right? It can make you sad. It can make you depressed. It can heal you. It can inspire you. It can encourage you. And there's so many options and things to choose to do when it comes to music. Why not put the words that I teach on paper in a song for people to listen to in a different way? Why not talk about healthy relationships in music? Why not talk about, how to be inspired? Hence the song Dream that I have, right? That is about life having obstacles, life sometimes not going the way you want it to go, right? But if you continue to dream, and if you continue to believe in you, and if you continue to understand your value and your worth and bet on yourself, we need people to dream. We need people to choose themselves. We need people to believe in themselves, because people make the world go round, right?
Yes,
everything that we are a part of was in somebody's imagination first, right? And so the best investment I can leave behind, on top of all the work that I do, is pour into the younger generation so that they can continue to do the work long after I'm gone.
Every time I talk to you, I learn something new about you, because the music, I remember you telling me you sing, and then when I started hearing some of your music, I'm just like, man, you sing, like you don't just sing.
Yeah. And I've been doing it for such a long time. It's been something I'm very passionate about, but I've, not knowing my worth a lot of times, I was just like, well, maybe I'll just do it as a hobby. And I've had people tell me all the time, you are a great writer. I said, well, maybe I'll do it behind the scenes, and I'll be a session singer. And I wrote songs for other artists, but I never put out my own stuff. And I've had other big artists buy things from me, and other labels buy music from me for other artists, right? But I was just like, no, I don't put out my own stuff. I'm going to do something different. And I'm just thinking, no, I'm going to write some things that matter. I'm going to write some things that make a difference, that supports the work that I'm doing right now. And I'm going to sing it myself, and I'm going to write it myself, and I'm going to put it out there for myself. And I said, I don't need it may not be a hit album, but it might be. And if so, it's going to be an empowerment album. The whole point is to be a life and empowerment album, LYF. An empowerment album, because I'm a life coach. You know what I mean? LYF, a loving yourself first coach, an NLP counselor, and self-worth counselor. Why not put that in music and find another way to reach the heart and soul through music?
Well, number one, your album is gonna be a hit. Number two,
I claim that.
You're still gonna do everything that you set out to do with it. It's gonna still be an empowerment album and everything. It's just gonna be a number one empowerment album. That's the way it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So, because I love the music. The music is really good. I was listening to it in my car one morning, and I was like, man, this is really good. Some good music.
Yeah.
And
I would say, what's your favorite song? Because I got a lot of people who really like Dream because it's so inspiring, right? But then you have, for example, you have Change, right?
That's
and one
the
of the
one.
lyrics,
That's my favorite. I just want to say that's my favorite one.
You like Change, and the crazy thing is that talks about, I have some lyrics in there. It's just like, have I fallen in love with you, or an unhealed version of me? And I can't chase after love from another person at the risk of losing myself. That's the type of conversations I have with my clients. That's the type of things that I talk about all the time. That's the emotional intelligence. That's the self-worth. That's the healing version. The awareness of this is unhealthy. This is toxic. You have to change in order to be. Are we going, two completely different ways? Are we on the same page? I can't lose myself and the love that I've built for myself as a sacrifice to loving you. It's just never going to work. It's not okay. And those lyrics, the fact that I sing them the way I sing, but it's the lyrics. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, everybody's like, where did it come from? Pain, my own relationship. These are things I had to say to somebody in a relationship. I was just like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. My tolerance and certain behaviors, this is coming from an unhealed version of me. So I gotta let you go and work on the areas that's keeping me present, allowing you to misbehave and cause chaos in my life. Absolutely not. So here's the thing, and I'm gonna tell you, and no one else knows this, so I'm gonna tell you because I love you to death. And I haven't made the announcement yet, but I'm gonna make the announcement for you, is that music drops Memorial Day weekend, next Friday.
What?
Streaming everywhere. It'll be everywhere next Friday. Haven't made the announcement to the world yet.
So is it an album or is it just certain songs that you're gonna?
I'm gonna put out a few singles.
A few singles.
I'm gonna put out a few singles first, and I'm gonna put out 2, and then the album drops. But music hits for the world next Friday. It'll be everywhere. iTunes, Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, you name it. Anywhere you can play music, it's going to be there.
That's what's up. I am going to be the first one to buy my copy. And because I think the music is insanely good. I listen to it often, and it just, it's you have the feel good music, kind of music that makes you just, and like you said, your music takes you somewhere. It makes you think. I really love change because I think I could connect to it even with everything that I've went through. Change is just that song that when you think about it and you think about everything that you're saying in it, it just hit home or hit, it just lets you think about, your life and where you are in life and how you can change things and make things better. So you are definitely an empowerment to not just women, but to men, who love real music. Like that's the real music, the music that can touch you. I don't know, some of this music they got out right now. they just throwing some words behind some tracks, but it's been a long time since I've heard music that was meaningful and meant something, and that's what we need nowadays. Music like what you're saying, because people are going through stuff every day. Like I was saying in my updates earlier, the mass shootings and all those people who lost innocent, family members, friends. I saw one video where this girl was just laid out on the sidewalk, just screaming and crying because her mother was in there and everyone in there had died. I think it was a supermarket one. And when you talked earlier about, the hurt and pain that people go through, they don't know how to navigate that hurt and pain, and they take it out on everybody else, and what you're teaching people and showing people is that you can get through this. There's a way to get through this without you giving that pain or putting that pain out on someone else.
Right.
And so I applaud you for that, because it's in your music, it's in your words, your inspirational speeches you do all the time. And if y'all haven't, you have to go on her page and just scroll down and just listen to some of the stuff she says. It's amazing. She talks a lot about love, and because I think a lot of people, they use that word, but they use it so wrong.
Yeah, I think people use love in a sloppy way. You know what I mean? And it loses its way, and it loses its meaning, and not just not just love that I talk about primary love, right? And primary love is necessary for the emotional development of a relationship with yourself and others, right? Primary love is allowing somebody to feel safe enough to be transparent, to be vulnerable, to not feel judged, to not feel condemned, to naturally be themselves, to talk about their hurt, to talk about their pain, because in our humanness, we all feel it, right? And primary love in your friendships and your relationships or whomever, right? Because you and I have experienced primary love. You know, I'm able to talk to you without feeling like there's going to be judgment. You've created a safe space for me where I feel like I can be myself. I don't have to, you know, give you a representative of who I think you want me to be or who I think you may need me to be, right? But I can show up as myself and I can share my pain without fear of judgment, without fear of condemning. And I know that even if you don't fully understand, that you are committed and determined to understanding how I feel so that you can validate how I feel in my experience that I'm having in my life. And that really is huge when it comes to love and relationships, and understanding how the experiences that we have had in the past, right, affects our emotional filters and how we navigate life, how we engage and interact with other people, you know, in life. And everybody that you meet, you should be offering or extending some form of love to them, right? That's kindness, that's compassion, that's grace, that's consideration, that's thoughtfulness, right? Politeness, right? All of these are characteristics and traits of love. And the more we experience that type of intimate love with ourselves, right, the more we give that to ourselves, right, the more it overflows and everybody else around us benefits from that type of love, because we experience it on a day-to-day with ourselves.
And you know, a lot of people, a lot of women worry about attracting certain type of men, but if you exert that type of love from yourself, and people recognize that you love yourself the way you do, you'll attract the right, you know, the right type of men. Those men who is not about the right thing, they're gonna see that you're a woman who's of virtue and value. You get what I'm saying? And they're gonna pull back from that. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I 100% agree. And most people say, well, I still get, you know, some, you know, women that, you know, aren't the best for me trying to holler at me. I still get, you know, guys who aren't the best trying to holler at me. Flies, even though they're more attracted to shit, it doesn't mean that they're not interested in a flower. They just know that that's not for them. And they'll go around it a little bit, seeing if you know there's something they can get from it, and if not, they move on. Only what you need will stay. A bee will stay, because that's what's supposed to be attracted to you. And so my thing is, when you know yourself, right, you set clear boundaries. And I use this in the crayon theory, which is the workshop that I went on. When you are clear and you effectively communicate your values, what you're willing to tolerate, right? What your non-negotiables are, how you want to be loved, how you receive love, and what you'll tolerate, what you won't. People know, you know, people will only do to you what you allow. And people will always try you a little bit. Little bit, see if they can, you know, poke you a little bit. When they find out, oh no, I can't get through to her. She ain't no joke. I can't pull one up. They leave, right?
Yeah.
And that's, you want that. You want that, right? And just say, yeah, he recognized that I ain't the one. You know, go try Jesus, not me. You know, and that's really how it is.
Wow. Now you also do courses. Now, first of all, I want everybody to know that I really tried to come on to your classes that you had not too long ago, and my schedule was just insane, and I could not log on and give you the full attention that I needed in the class, and it was just crazy. So I truly apologize that I was not able to see, but I am gonna make sure, because I know you're gonna do it again sooner or later.
Again. I got one coming up this summer, and then I'm also offering a bundle. So for those who want to, not necessarily want a hot girl summer or a hot guy summer, but want a healed summer, then I have a bundle for you. And we can work on, healing this summer so that you can, either have somebody boot up with during the winter, or you can have a healed winter, because sometimes mental health is the hardest during the fall and the winter holiday season, right? So if you want to work on, certain areas so you can prepare to end the year with a bang, right? Summer is the time to do it, especially because I'm offering a huge bundle discount on counseling.
And so that's going to be coming up this summer. And I'm sure people are going to love. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in and follow her so you'll know when these classes are going to be, so you can jump in on that, because her classes, I'm sure, are amazing. If you go and watch her page and look at all the quotes and stuff and inspirational
life tips.
Life tips. That's what she called it. Her life tips. And her just so many videos, so many things that can help you get through your day, get through relationships, if you're feeling down and you feel like you need an escape and you don't understand what's going on with you, sometimes you can hear that word from somebody else, somebody you don't even know, because I know there's been several times I've heard something you said and it just happened to be something I was going through that day, and I'm just like, oh, I needed that. And so,
I tell people all the time to listen to the life tips. Follow me on Instagram at Keyonna Loves Me, or go to Keyonna Monroe on LinkedIn or Facebook, but also subscribe to the newsletter, because the newsletter, when you go to the site www.KeyonnaMonroe.com and you sign up for the newsletter, that's where you get a lot of the real work. That's where, newsletters gives you, this is what you're feeling, this is what you need to do. It's like a recap of courses put into a newsletter, and there are applicable activities that you can do on a day-to-day basis that will help you. A lot of that NLP training and cognitive behavioral health training and emotional intelligence training and knowledge, I tend to give a lot of that in the newsletter, because you can only fit so much with social media. But that newsletter, listen, and the podcasts, right? The shows, the breathing meditations and the affirmational videos on YouTube. There's no reason why you can't find me and say, I couldn't find anything that she did that was helpful for me, or I couldn't relate to anything, or this wasn't long enough, or I didn't get, the type of direction or the guidance that I needed. There's so many different avenues that I've created, right? And not even just for you. If you really want to work and teach emotional intelligence and mental health and emotional wellness about great relationships to your kids, right? You have all of my children's books do that with Pretty to Me Foundation. So let's have a happy, healthy family.
Yeah, and so, man, time done went by so quick. I feel like we just got started talking, but we got a little bit over 5 minutes. Let everybody know, tell them your websites, how they can reach you again, just run down everything. You just did it, but I want you to do it again to make sure that people got it and they can contact you.
Okay, so for children, you can go to www.pretty2me.org, or you can go to www.KeyonnaMonroe.com, KeyonnaMonroe.com. And for the Pretty to Me site that you can click on is also on my adult website. Sign up for the newsletter. You can follow me on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter at Keyonna Monroe, or follow me on Instagram at Keyonna Loves Me. Yes, you have to say that out loud in order to find me, because I do, and it's very intentional. I highly recommend the books for children, because emotional intelligence, learning that at a young age, understanding your emotions, and mindfulness and wellness for kids is important, right? And then to sign up for the newsletter and work on your inner child, right? And work on healing you as an adult, right? Kind of going backwards. It's really important that you go to all of these areas and find it. And then you could just, if you feel like I didn't get it, I need to know some more, just Google Keyonna Monroe. Every single thing will pop up. You'll have a whole smorgasbord of books and TV shows and magazines and YouTube videos and podcasts and books, you name it. Everything is there for you.
And not to mention your music coming out next Friday on all platforms.
That's right.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait, man, because I'm going to be first one in line. I'm going to be getting that. So, and also definitely go and check out her children's book. My daughter has read your book. She has to do a reading assignment every day for school. So one of her assignments we read your book, and she has to write her favorite part of the book, what she thought was her best part and everything. Yeah, that she has to do that. She goes to school. So it's amazing to me because every time she reads it, because she's read it, I want to say 3 times so far. We've read it together.
The Pretty to Me book?
The Pretty to Me book.
Okay,
and every time
perfect.
she likes that book. And every time we read it together, she internalized something different. So, because each time we read the book, she like I said, she has to write a paragraph, write a sentence or a paragraph. She has to draw a picture of her favorite thing in the book and then write about what she drew. And each time is something different. So each time she's gaining a different experience from reading the book. So I just wanted to thank you for that. It's an amazing book. It's an amazing
I'm
book.
so glad she loves it. It's a book about self-worth and self-validation and self-love and
and we talk about that. Yeah. And that with that being said, and you brought that up, that your teachers and stuff can help, that people talk to their children and stuff as well. And that's true, because when I read with my daughter, we talk about that. Talk about, how you matter, your words matter, you even though she's growing and she's a young little girl, I always hear her out and let her know that her voice means something, And I think that a lot of people can learn from that by reading your book. So people, please go and get her children's book. They're amazing as well.
There's 4 of them. You got one that's called Let Your Love Be Contagious, that talks about giving love to other people and not projecting negativity, right? Then you have Mom's Recharging Her Batteries, that talks about gratitude and mindfulness and respect and valuing
that one too. She likes that one.
And being appreciative. Then you have the Pretty to Me book, which talks about self-love and self-validation. And then you have the Different But the Same, which was bought by Disney and is being worked on as an animated series called Adventures of D.V. Lane. And that book is about living harmoniously amongst other people and respecting people's differences with the understanding that we also have a lot of similarities, right? And especially in this day and age and the time that we're in now, it's really important for children to know that we can love and live harmoniously with other people that look different from us, that have different families from us, right? That might even have some different values from us, but we all need love, we all need food, we all need water, we all need shelter, to understand all the similarities and respect and actually appreciate the uniqueness of other people in the full world that we live in.
Now, Keyonna, I'm not gonna let you just sit here and run right over that little part where you said Disney got the book and is doing a series about. You just said it like this, went right across it.
It comes out, the animated series. It starts streaming next fall in 2023 on Disney Plus.
Wow! So you have a book that Disney is making into an animated series.
Correct.
I told you every time I talk to you. I just said that today. I just said it. Every time we talk, it is something new. I learned about you. You just be saying it so casually, and I'm sitting here are you serious? Well, congratulations, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You got to let us know when that come out so that,
Absolutely.
I can check it out, and I can say, can you
Absolutely.
repeat the title of that again?
The name of the show is the book is called Different But the Same. You can buy every book on the website. You can go to Barnes and Nobles, Google Books, Amazon, wherever books are sold. But the one that Disney bought is Different But the Same, and it's called Adventures of D.V. Lang.
Oh wow! So congratulations on that. That is amazing, man. Learn something new every time I talk to you, I tell you. So with that being said, thank you for coming on the show. I truly appreciate you being here. Time it just goes by so fast. Every time I talk to you, you can have a whole show and it can go on for about 2 hours by itself. But I appreciate you for taking the time for coming on the show. Before we go, can you just give no problem. Just give a tad bit of advice to anybody who's listening, who's going through something. Give them just a word of inspiration before we leave the show.
If you are listening or watching this right now, understand that your best is good enough. You don't need to look outside of yourself to be approved. Right? If you consistently move throughout the world thinking that you are unworthy or not good enough, eventually your life is going to believe you. And it's going to start reflecting what you think and believe and what you say about yourself. And because God says that there's power in the tongue, then be mindful of what you speak to yourself about yourself. Understand that one win doesn't make you a one winner. It makes you a winner. And as long as you continue to win once, you can win again. And you don't need anyone outside of yourself to approve that. You don't need to look, for a relationship or friendship or family or anybody outside of yourself to approve of that. You are worthy upon arrival. From the moment God gave you breath and poured you into this world, you were worthy. Grace and mercy follows you every day. And you are worthy not only of other people's, love, that's an added bonus, but you are worthy of your own love first. And life has to matter to you.
On that note, I don't even know. I have nothing else to say. This is Wardell Richardson on WCEG Wood Hollywood of the South. I just had the wonderful, the talented, the music being released next Friday. One of her books becoming an animated series. Keyonna A Monroe, thank you for being on the show, man. You are just a ball of surprises, for sure. And I applaud you for all your success, man. You're really doing a lot to help people, and everything that you put your hands on in some way help people. You definitely building a legacy, and I applaud you for that. And that means a lot to me. And I adore you as a friend. We talk quite often, and I appreciate you on everything that you do for everyone. So God bless you. And that is Wardell Richardson on WCEG Wood, signing out.
Bye, everyone.